Welcome to Building Something Admirable, the podcast that takes you behind the scenes of how to start a healthcare-related business. I'll share each step that we took to establish our now thriving practice at Meyer Medical, including our highs and lows, insider advice, and real-life lessons in every episode. Good evening, budding medical entrepreneurs. This is Alex for the Building Something Admirable podcast. I made a big decision today. Let's talk about it. I'm going to post this episode after the one I recorded last night about morale, burnout, and kind of feeling a bit wrung out these days with the amount of work that we've been doing and the toll that working my main job and working at Admire Health, jeez, that's how bad it is, working at Admire Medical, and what the two competing interests have done to my brain power, attention span, family relationships, and Angela's as well. Hope she doesn't mind me talking about both of our experiences here, but we were trying to hire a nurse practitioner to fill the need that we had. The way that I structured the post was for essentially to start as a salary guarantee, and I believe I talked about that earlier, in the same vein as what my main role provided me when I signed on. Essentially, if my billings come in under a certain amount, they match the difference to be whatever the guarantee was. And that was the plan for Angela, was that we had a guarantee of a certain amount that was a competitive salary for a nurse practitioner on average, but less than what a resourceful and ambitious nurse practitioner could make in the area going between different skilled nursing facilities. Now, of course, there's the argument of prestige and intellectual stimulation that an inpatient rehab facility can provide over a skilled nursing facility. Not to knock on SNFs or subacute rehabs, but typically, the medical complexity is lower and the management is more straightforward, so it's not that intellectually stimulating. That's what I was looking for before. So there's something to be said that you might make a little bit less, but enjoy your job a little bit more. However, the plan was to quickly peg reimbursement to billings based on output. And unfortunately, because of the volume at our other arrangement, our output's been limited by things that are outside of our control. And so it's kind of unfairly put her in a position where she's working more than I'd initially expected for. I mean, that she didn't initially expected, but also not getting paid to work at that level, right? Because originally the plan was that she was working this much is because we'd be seeing 20-some odd patients on the inpatient side, then however many patients on the outpatient side, and if you're pegging pay towards that productivity, it should be more than the guarantee. But because of our level of, bureaucracy and paperwork and driving and whatever else, we just haven't been able to accommodate the patient volume necessary in the office. So that's one problem. And the second one is that it's once again 10 p.m. and I'm driving home. I haven't seen my son except for 15 minutes each morning for the past, I don't know how many days. Let alone been able to work on any of the core Admire stuff that's going to actually move the business forward meaningfully. So it's gotten to the point where initially this main position the plan was to provide stability while we built the practice. But now it's like running with a parachute or a drag chute on, where we can't get any speed because it's taking up so much of our bandwidth. Because of all that, I was kind of teetering on the edge for a little while in terms of what the heck to do and when the heck to do it. And there's one thing that drives me absolutely bananas in operation sense. It is needless bureaucracy and hoops and things that are rules for no reason except for, I don't know, someone screwed up once and because of that everyone else has to do the same stupid thing. And I understand that in big academic medical centers, but part of the idea of me taking this position in this company that I'm not going to name anymore is that as a private company, I expected a bit more of a nimble and progressive and forward-looking approach to things. Yet I've been unfortunately disappointed in that perspective. And over, just too many rules that are there because that's the way things are done. Or too many rules because whatever, it doesn't matter. And today was kind of the last straw with that. I was meeting with our director of the pharmacy, and there's been an issue with one more of the myriad metrics that they track that are not well correlated with the point they're going for. In this case, there's something really stupid about med reconciliations. And it's, I understand the need for having your med recs done early enough. That's not unreasonable. But when you have a rule on the med rec being completed within 24 hours, however, you need to have the med recs technically done when the patient arrives, otherwise they're not going to get their medications at night, then it kind of behooves you to have a system where you can put these meds in ahead of time. Well, that such system exists. We had that at UPMC, and sure enough, we use the same EMR, so I know it's possible here too. And in fact, I have been doing that for the last 9 months or so. Well, because of the way they track these med-rec metrics, it became pretty clear that they weren't taking kindly to the way of pre-signing these orders to avoid having to wake the hell up at whatever ridiculous hour in the morning that patients arrive because of a different problem that they refuse to solve. There's an issue with transport here in Delaware, and despite about a half dozen times of me proposing solutions to these things and receiving a willing ear, but not much more than that, to the problems, despite the impact on patient care, nursing satisfaction, and our freaking burnout levels, they still expect us, instead of finding the one way around this, to be able to pre-sign these orders because we already have to sign them anyway, yet they want us to wake up and sign them again. And that is just one last thing. That's just, I'm done with that. So it is 10 p.m. and I just spent the last 20 minutes putting together my letter of resignation because it's lost redeeming qualities here. And if, it'd be one thing if it were just the business impact, but it's the family impact too. And what the hell's the point of doing this stuff if I don't even get to see my family at the end of the day? Or spend time on the weekends with my friends and family? And like my brother was up last week, I spent the whole damn weekend working. And I got one of my best friend's bachelor parties this weekend. Not the kind that, someone might have done when they're in their early 20s. This is just a guy's weekend in Annapolis. And I've been dreading the damn thing because I don't have time to enjoy it. So it's gotten to the point now where life is just a balance of risks and benefits. And right now the risk to my mental health is quite profound. It's present. And the benefits of me maintaining this role is the security of those reimbursements coming in. But that security has officially become an anchor. And so I'm handing in my resignation tomorrow morning, giving them a month's notice. Evidently, in the past, someone gave 3 months notice, but if I stay here for 3 more months, I'm going to spend 2 months of that on disability for a breakdown. So that's it. It's time to go all in on Admire. So what started as a really negative rant is ending on a super positive one. We had a meeting today where I proposed this to the staff and basically said, listen, this puts technically all of us at risk here because this is going to affect our reimbursements. But I got a hunch that the minute that we have all this extra time in our days, that we can really quickly finish the 80% done projects we have lying around here and build out our membership model, build out all the content that we've been recording for weeks now but haven't had time to process and post. And then also just find ways to improve our efficiency anyway and not need to skim off the top to pay scribes or lose efficiency in terms of our productivity just because I'm so freaking tired all the damn time. But doing that, there definitely is a point where you need to figure out what's the future here. And for us, the future was always going to be Admire. And I'd hoped that it included this other position as well, that the two would move forward together because they're, like I've said 1,000 times, there's so much synergy between what we do, and it provides a great opportunity for patients to have exceptional continuity of care. But that point is done. So I am nervous, I am sad about the people that I'm going to be affecting by this. I'm upset that I'm putting the extra workload on all the other physicians at this place. I am disheartened that it came to this in less than a stinking year. But as I mentioned the other day, there were promises made that weren't kept, and I'm not going to blame any one person. It's just the way it is. So, silver lining, Admire's going somewhere now. Can't wait to keep posted. If you found this rant helpful, I appreciate any sort of comments below to help me guide it into what would be even more helpful for you. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Best of luck in your own businesses. It ain't easy, but it's worth it. Have a good night. Stay tuned for more insider advice on building something admirable. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe below.